Two more teams have been eliminated from playoff contention. One that's a little bit more surprising than the other one, to be completely honest, because the Atlanta Hawks, I mean, we didn't really expect them to go too far into the playoffs to begin with. And to be completely honest, to the Atlanta Hawks, I give them full credit in the world. They played a lot better than I think a lot of people gave them credit for. But this game was bad. Like, no offensive creation, no defensive stoppage on OG Anunoby, who at best of times is a good offensive player. And it just, nothing went right. Jalen Johnson couldn't get the team going. CJ McCollum, who was the sole reason that they won two of the games in this series, just completely disappeared after game three. He had those scoring efforts in the first couple of games. People thought they were a chance now that CJ McCollum was firing on all cylinders. People were saying he was the best mid-season acquisition in the entire league. There was so much conversation going on, and then it just died. The New York Knicks, 2 games in a row, took care of business as they should, and it was all over after that. Got to give full credit to the Knicks. I mean, if the Knicks went down in a first-round matchup to the Atlanta Hawks, I think the whole city of New York would have been burnt to the ground. There is high expectations on this team, and people expect them to go a long way. So if they were to bomb out in the first round matchup to their arch rivals, it wouldn't have been a good look. What's next for the Atlanta Hawks? You sort of don't know. It is a step in the right direction because they had a weird season this year, losing Trae Young in that mid-season. People for years were saying Trae Young was going to be the cornerstone of this franchise. He was going to be the one that was going to play on that roster for years and years to come. And it got very apparent very quickly in the start of this year that Trae Young wasn't actually the player that they thought he was and the player that they wanted him to be. He was awful defensively for them in the games that he did play, and I think there was a run where Trae Young played 6 games and they lost all 6 of those games. And at that point, they shopped him around, sold him out to Washington, gave the keys of the franchise to Jalen Johnson, which, honestly, you don't skip a beat. Jalen Johnson played ridiculously good basketball this entire year. His teammate, obviously, winning Most Improved Player in Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The only critique that I have of Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the offseason, or the postseason that he just had. Because he just could not find his jump shot. He couldn't score the ball. He was basically useless in this series, and it's pretty harsh to say, but there was never really a time in this series where Nickeil Alexander-Walker took over this game, really made his impact felt on the series for the Knicks, and the series would have went a lot better for the Hawks if he showed up. So, there was no pressure on them to really perform in this series and to really go above and beyond. But it is definitely a step in the right direction. They have a few of their guys under contract for another couple of years. Jonathan Kuminga was an amazing pickup for them. He's done nothing but good things for them so far. As I said, Nickeil Alexander-Walker was probably the steal of the offseason. They have traded really well, and they've used their assets really well to build a really great team. They were one of the best teams in basketball for the second half of the year. And that's what got them into the position that they were in. So you give them time, you give them another few years, see where they go during this time. Obviously, I don't see too dramatic of changes going on their roster over the offseason. I don't know what their money situation looks like, but I think if Jalen Johnson keeps performing, I don't know how long it is till Jalen Johnson's up for a contract, but if he keeps playing the way that he is going to demand a hell of a lot of money, which will nuke a lot of the cap space that you have and going into your luxury tax and all that sort of thing. That's on the organization to pick if they want to dig into that luxury tax or that second envelope or whatever. But it definitely an interesting season. It was a fun series, don't get me wrong. It was a good series to watch. When CJ McCollum was at the peak of his powers, like he was 25 again, that was crazy to watch. And it was a bit of a feel-good series. But yeah, Atlanta just in this game, it was bad. It was really, really bad. 60-15 is just outrageous. Anyway, I think that's enough on the Atlanta Hawks. The off-season's going to be reasonably quiet, so I don't think there's really too much I can touch on. The big game, however, today, the Denver Nuggets lose to the Timberwolves that have no Anthony Edwards, no Ayo Dosunmu, no Dante DiVincenzo, and Kyle Anderson was also out, but I don't know how much Kyle Anderson makes a difference to this game. He probably only gets spurt minutes, but anyway, they had three main guys in their rotation, all guards, go out of the lineup. And they still somehow find a way to beat Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, this is a really big miss hit for the Denver Nuggets because a lot of people had the Denver Nuggets going to the NBA championship. They were one of the teams to beat in the entire conference. And they get bombed in the first round by a team that had Terrence Shannon Jr. at point guard. I think a lot of the damage was done early in this series. Going down 3-1 is never going to help you in any situation, especially when Minnesota is in a realm where they get that game 6 on their home floor. I just don't know what to say about this team. Like Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, as of this day forward, I am pledging my allegiance to Rudy Gobert. I will never speak anything wrong about Rudy Gobert ever again because he is probably, I don't know how Victor Wembanyama would have gone in the next series, but he played Nikola Jokic as good as anybody has ever played Nikola Jokic. I think ever. Like Nikola Jokic having bad games is something that no one ever expects in a playoff series. Because he is that impactful with the ball. He walks around and gets triple doubles for fun. And earlier in this series, Christmas Day, Nikola Jokic had 50 points and a 20 rebound triple double or something like that. Like it was something absurd against this very team. And somehow Rudy Gobert has really just pulled his finger out and played 6 really good games of basketball. Nikola Jokic at times felt like he wasn't even the best player on the floor. And that's crazy to say out loud. Jamal Murray, had a stinker in this one. Shot awfully from the field. Didn't really have too much of an impact on this game. Doris Burke was on the call saying that, while Jamal Murray is in the game, he's always known for the clutch gene, might come up in the big moments. There just wasn't any of that. I think Jamal Murray maybe shot one clutch shot in this entire game. And he didn't really have an impact on this game at all. In a game where you've got Terrence Shannon on you. Terrence Shannon took advantage of the Jamal Murray matchup. It was insane. Obviously, their free agency last season, you get Cameron Johnson, by all means, severely underperformed as a trade piece this year. You get rid of Michael Porter Jr., who goes on to have pretty much an all-star level season. And you get in return Cam Johnson, who struggled to stay healthy during the regular season. He missed a bunch of time during the middle of the season. And then comes into the playoffs and just was not shooting the ball with confidence. He probably had his best game in, I think it was game 5 of this series, the last game that they won. But outside of that, I don't really see too much Cameron Johnson impact. Bruce Brown, all things considered, did basically nothing for this roster. Jonas Valanciunas didn't play basketball because Nikola Jokic was that ride or die for David Adelman. And Peyton Watson, obviously missing, the big two is missing Peyton Watson and missing Aaron Gordon. It was also said on the broadcast that Aaron Gordon has struggled to stay healthy in this last couple of years. And they were dominated by a triple big lineup today, and that's how they lost this basketball game. And if you have both Peyton Watson on the floor and Aaron Gordon on the floor, I think the triple big lineup looks a hell of a lot different. Because Aaron Gordon will defend interior defense. He will get on the other side of the floor and he will expose with the speed that he has to get by either Gobert or Naz Reid. I just don't know what to say for this team. if they play like that, they probably lose to pretty much every team that was in a playoff spurt this season. I just think it was one of the worst series as I've seen out of Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, all of those guys. They just did not look like a championship team whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, I kind of just need to get my thoughts together, and I'll do over the off season, do a big video on it, because I'll have to go into the contract situation with Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, what it all looks like. Because obviously, Nikola Jokic, as long as he is a basketball player, Denver Nuggets are going to throw the kitchen sink at him. He's not going to not be a Denver Nugget for his entire career. I just don't know. There's so many question marks, I think, now with Jamal Murray, with Aaron Gordon. What do you do with these guys? Do you maybe move Cameron Johnson and Aaron Gordon and try and get a good four-man on your roster? Who knows? I don't really know for right now, but the Timberwolves deserve full credit. I mean, even undermanned, they were the better team in this entire series. Anthony Edwards didn't win them a single game in this series. And that is the weirdest thing to say out loud. Anthony Edwards did not single-handedly win a single game in this entire series. It was just a big credit to, not even Julius Randle was the best player on the floor. It was the bench for the Minnesota Timberwolves that really got them over the line. And saying that the bench won them 4 games in a row is just insane. Like, yeah, there's so much to go through. But Spurs and Timberwolves come up next. I mean, I think the Spurs have the edge because I don't know how much longer Anthony Edwards is going to be out. Ayo Dosunmu, I see being fit for game 1. He'll be ready to go, but I think the Spurs are just a step above offensively compared to the Nuggets that they were this series. And yeah, I think the Spurs probably get it done, make the conference finals, but the Timberwolves are a chance, man. I didn't pick the Timberwolves over the Nuggets in this series, and they closed it out in 6. Like, just incredible. I need to get this camera focused, please, and thank you. Beautiful. But yeah, there's so much to go through. I'll go through it in due time. But for right now, I think that's everything from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's basically just a big spurt on what that series was. And what's next for these teams? Great games, by the way. Even the third game. Philly is going into a game 7. Where, to be completely honest, I think Philadelphia are a chance. Boston, this last 2 games, has looked reasonably, very sluggish. Between Jason Tate, Jaylen Brown, it felt like the only way that he scored crucial buckets today was by getting people up in the air and getting to the free throw line. Philly are a chance. Embiid is playing good basketball ever since he's been back. Tyrese Maxey is pretty much at the peak of his powers, and the dude's only 23 years old. VJ Edgecombe had some clutch moments in that game. Paul George even is doing what a $180 million player should be doing. Insane. Just incredible. But anyway, that's everything from me. I will see you guys. I'll probably see you guys tomorrow because there is another 3 game 3s on, or 3 game 6s on tomorrow. So I reckon someone will get eliminated. If we get 3 game 7s tomorrow, that would be insane, but I don't think that will happen. So without further ado, I will see you guys probably tomorrow. And until then, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.